Hi guys and welcome to Just So Rare. Today's video is just a follow-up on a post I made on Twitter last night regarding the importance of winning ETH thresholds on So Rare, especially starting on a smaller budget. I've also put a team that if I was to start So Rare today with my knowledge of So Rare and what I know and what I've picked up over the years of playing, that is the team there that I would be happy to go with. Someone did, however, on Twitter last night kindly remind me that the striker I've chosen, Antonio Puertas of Granada, there are actually two cards of him available on So Rare. There's a forward card and a midfielder card. So the likelihood is you're not going to pick up the forward card for the price that I've said. So therefore, I've chosen another striker for this example, and that striker is Samata, ex-Villa, now on loan at Royal Antwerp from Fenerbahce, and I'll go into details later on in the video on why I selected this player. Now, if anyone is new to So Rare and just starting out and watching this video, please be realistic. 500 quid is not going to buy you world-class players or players who are going to be posting good scores week in, week out. It just ain't happening. However, I am 100% confident that using this technique, you could potentially return your investment of 500 quid within 3-4 months of being on the platform just by hitting 205 or 250 points and winning either 0.1 or 0.2 every game week. Now, again, the first site I would use is So Rare Data and use these filters, and obviously the price is the main one there. Again, I would exclude Asia because I've got no knowledge of it, so I'd be looking for all the players in Europe and America. I would then filter the position I was looking for, and for me, the most important thing, the filter that I look at the most, as well as price, is the last 5 games. I want players to have played 4 of the last, or actually started the game 4 of the last 5 games, 80% basically. When compiling your ETH grinding teams, scores obviously matter, but the most important thing for me is the players start, as you cannot afford a DNP because the likelihood is of any player that you're going to buy it in 100 is on that budget is very unlikely. So the key is to try and get your 4 outfield players who start on a regular basis. So as you can see, my defender would be Igor Sorokin of Krasnodar, whose last 3-day average is around £95. I would look at his score graph. Like I said, they're not going to be in 60s, 70s every game week. So please bear that in mind. You just hope on a particular game week they hit their average scores. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using their last 15 average score, which Sorokin is 48. Now, there's a few other things I consider just on top of using So Rare Data. Firstly, I don't want to be signing any sort of player that are in relegation battle or likely to be relegated, because if they were to drop out of the league and don't get transferred, you're holding a player that's got no utility next season, and that's the last thing you want on a small budget if you've got no more funds to add to buy other players. So as you can see, Krasnodar are 5th in the league. In my opinion, they're not going to be getting nowhere near relegated this season. So I'm happy with that. Secondly, I would then flip over to transfer market just to check his contract situation. As you can see, his contract expires in 2024. So again, I'm happy with that. He could obviously move if someone bought him, but I don't want to be signing players who are contracts expiring at the end of the season because God knows where they could end up. I would then check finally his last stat in terms of how many games he's played this season, and more importantly, how many games he's actually started. And as you can see, he started 14 out of the 17 games. So I'm happy to go ahead with that purchase. As once again, you need players who play regularly, and not only play regularly, start regularly, more importantly. So I would use the same techniques that I've used on Sorare on the other 3 players that I've bought. I just want to touch on Samata because I just want to show you why I would sign him. Now, as you can see, he's only actually started 10 of the 22 games that he's played. However, I know from using Sorare data on the filters, he has started the last 4 of their last 5 games. So, although a risk, it's a risk I'm worth taking in my opinion. And as most experienced users will tell you, finding strikers for a reasonable price is very, very difficult. So again, you're not going to be finding strikers banging in goals left, right, and centre. You're just looking for steady eddies who are going to post roughly between 40 to 50 points most game weeks. Now, by using these filters on Sorare data, you can pick what you believe is the most important. I'm only going on from experience of being on the platform for 18 months or so. But it's your money investment. You buy the players you want to do. I'm just trying to show you what I would do and what I believe is the most important key stats starting games, end of. So as you can see, that team there, my common goalkeeper obviously costs nothing because common goalkeepers will score roughly around 55% less of their true score. I've just put in an average of 20 per game week. Using their last 15 average, the outfield players, I need to change that because Samata's not 40. Samata's last 15 average is 44, so that drops. And he's the extra and he's the striker. So as you can see, using their last 15 average, that would score, providing they obviously all hit their last 15 average score every game week, that would hit 208 points. Now, with the players multipliers and your captain choice, you're not going to be far off, hitting 250 points. If one of those players, if they were all to hit their average and one of them made a decisive score, then you're going to be hitting over 250 points, which would, return you 2.02 ETH, which is 10% ROI, which is phenomenal in my opinion. If you got really lucky, if they were all to have their games of their lives on exactly the same game week, you could potentially win a card. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't win a card using a common goalkeeper, because I've done it, many other people have done it, so it's simply not true. It's a big ask, but it's not impossible, trust me. So guys, that would be my team, or a very similar team. You need to obviously do your research, look for players, and ultimately your money, your investment, you've got to buy the players that you want and you're comfortable with. Now, obviously, on a small budget, you might want to save a few quid on a few defenders so you could possibly get 2 in to cover injuries, suspensions, etc. Because, playing with, if you've only got 4 players in your gallery, if one of them gets injured and it's a long-term injury and you've got no money to add into Sorare, then you're basically snookered. So might be well worth going through those list of players that Sorare data come up through the price range and possibly look for players that are around 60, 65, 70 quid. They are out there. It's just finding them basically. Anyway, guys, that's enough from me. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. Good luck with your game week and all the best. Cheers.